question.
Thank you, Dr. Rice, for coming. In Afghanistan, there are young men who are choosing between career in farming opium and a few other opportunities. And in inner city America, there are young men who are choosing between whether I stay in school and whether I deal drugs. And you see this sort of tension play out in a lot of places, whether it's Colombia or the way drugs prop up North Korea, which is one of the big drug trafficking countries. And so I wonder if we think about the tension between the ways in which illicit drug trade creates all sorts of opportunities for insurgents, cartels to undermine functioning states, our neighbor Mexico being perhaps the best example. To what degree does the war on drugs operate then in tension with the war on terror? And is it possible to actually succeed at both, particularly when we want those young people to sort of say, as you experienced in your growing up, the real opportunities are in doing something like getting an education as opposed to slanging crack rock, as they say in hip hop.
Yeah. It's interesting because the same circumstances in a state or a weak state or a failed state that empower drug dealers, empower terrorists, empower people who traffic in humans, and empower people who deal arms. It tends to be places where the police are either corrupt or don't care, which some would say, or are not willing to exercise control for whatever reason, and that can be in a developed society. My cousin, Connie Rice, is very involved with the LA Police Department now in trying to better understand the gang problem in Los Angeles, and they're using some of the insurgent literature to try and understand what's going on in LA, where the gangs control whole territories. I mean, literally are the government in that part of the territory. And so there are actually a lot of commonalities between what you see in terrorism and ungoverned territory, corrupt officials, people who can pay just a little money to a kid because there are no other prospects and the kid does that. And so maybe the way to think about it is that you attack those problems. In counterinsurgency doctrine, that's what they try to do. They try to go into a village, say in Afghanistan, and they try to own the military folks along with the Afghan. They try to own the territory long enough to put in reconstruction projects and education projects and governance and so forth. And so I don't think they are in conflict. I actually think they come from, to a certain degree, the same source.
So just a push, right? In Afghanistan, the economy is something like 60% opium, right? So as long as there's all of this money to be made in opium because it's illicit, there really is no way for us to effectively develop a functioning state there.
Well, it's very hard because not only is the opium 60% of the economy, and it's probably a little high, but let's stipulate it's 30 or 40, all right? Not only do you have that problem, but you have the problem that then feeds and funds the Taliban.
Right.
Now, there are a couple ways that we are trying to deal with that. We had what we called a 5-pillar strategy, and it essentially hasn't changed in the Obama administration. First of all, you criminalize it so that some people will get out of it just because they don't want to be harassed. Right? Secondly, you realize that it's actually not the small farmer who's trying to make a living who's the problem here. It's the drug lords, and so you try to take down the drug lords. The problem in Afghanistan is sometimes they're linked up with government officials in a not very good way. Third, you do have to have alternatives for people. And we've tried crop substitution and alternative livelihoods. And one of the problems with that is you kind of incent people to grow more so that they can get more for their crops. So that hasn't worked perfectly. But in the provinces where governors have really taken this on and tried to establish security zones and then establish empowerment zones and economic zones, in some of those places it actually has worked, like Oruzgan province was one of the worst and is somewhat better. But it is one of the key problems in Afghanistan is this tie between the drug trade and the terrorists, absolutely.
Okay, next question.